Kia ora koutou, ngai mai hara mai ki tēnei live. Te kaupapa o te rā is all about patupaiarehe. I'm going to be sharing a bit of my experience of patupaiarehe, tūruhu, and just my experience with this kaupapa specifically, because for a big part of my journey it has taken me a long time to even identify with one particular ingoa, with one particular name, because I personally believe that I am everything. I don't like to box myself in, I don't like to label myself. I like to keep my feelings and my labels completely open because if we label ourselves as one thing in particular and disregard everything else, then we cut ourselves off from the potentials and the blessings and the wisdom that comes from identifying and being open to all the other possibilities as well. And also, I know that heaps of people, pretty much the whole entire Aotearoa now, everyone knows who the patupaiarehe are. Everyone's heard about them, everyone's heard pūrākau about them, everyone kind of knows what's going on there. And I felt like I haven't really stepped into this space wholeheartedly because so many people were talking about them, and everyone has their own whakaaro about us, everyone has their own stories and pūrākau they have heard, and I hadn't fully stepped into that space also because I wanted to come into this space and talk about patupaiarehe from my own experience, not from just reading it from a book, not from just hearing it from other people. I wanted it to be my experience, and now I feel like I have experienced a lot and I want to share my experience with you guys so you guys can get a little bit of an understanding of who the patupaiarehe are, who we are, and also just give you an understanding that this is one aspect of the Fae realm. These are the beings that Māori talk about in our stories, in our pūrākau, in our mythology. Patupaiarehe is one of the te reo Māori words for fairy folk. And even when you type into Te Aka, into the Māori dictionary, there are heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of ingoa that also refer to patupaiarehe, to fairy folk. So it's just giving us a broader perspective of who we are. First and foremost, from just Wikipedia, if we are going into the online realm, what Wikipedia says is that patupaiarehe are he iwi atua, a supernatural race. And I've always found this fascinating, we've always found this interesting, all of us have, because we know that there's more to what they've told us throughout our whole upbringing of what we are actually capable of. And when we realize that we have whakapapa whai, that we have fairy DNA, that we are connected to these supernatural beings, that we actually are these supernatural beings, it takes us into a deeper state of awareness and helps us to understand that we can do everything that we see in these TV shows, these movies of these supernatural beings. We can do all of it. And I know for some it may seem like it's out of reach, or that how is this even possible? Because we've been taught that, for one, magic's not real, and two, any magical, mythical beings and creatures that come with that aren't real. Then how are we even supposed to comprehend us, for one, being those beings, and two, actually physically and tangibly have the same exact powers that we've seen? Because we've been told that that's not even possible. And that's why I'm here, because I'm like, guys, I've experienced so much crazy shit that I sometimes don't even share on here, because it's a lot. It's a lot to even comprehend for myself, let alone share it with the whole entire freaking internet and the whole entire cosmos. But yeah, I've gotten to the place now where I know that everything I experience is for me to experience, and for me, experience is the best teacher. It is like one of the best teachers, because if you don't experience the Fae, if you don't have these experiences with these beings, with these elemental beings, even with just yourself, that you have these abilities to connect with these beings, then you don't really know if it's real, if it's possible. So that's why I haven't stepped into the space for so long, because I was like, don't get me wrong, I have done so much research. I've done so much rangaho around patupaiarehe and tūrehu, and like learnt all the stories, which is part of the whole research anyway, is learning all the stories and the pūraka. And this will be, and will continue to be, the rest of my experience here on Earth, is just piecing all the puzzle pieces together of all the different stories and pūraka around fairies and how they're connected all over the world. However, I am so passionate and excited to continuously dive deeper into the pūraka here in Aotearoa with our beautiful patupaiarehe, tūrehu, te tini o te hā, te heke toro. These are all different kupu that different hapu use to describe the Fae, to describe these elemental beings. And yeah, for myself also, it's been really healing and beautiful, because I myself am Māori, and it's just really cool for me to connect all the dots and to help others out there also who have felt like me, who just didn't know where we fitted into our Māori in general, because we might look different, we might sound different, like all the little things. So when I discovered my whakapapa Fae, everything just made sense, and I know it will make sense for you too. Yay! So thank you to everyone who's joining me. And essentially all I'm going to be doing is just sharing some stories and pūraka from my own experience. And yeah, would love to also hear your guys' stories, your guys' experience, because all of our experiences combined can help each other to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and just realize how amazing we are, just realize how magical we are. And yeah, so this has all stemmed and sparked from when I watched this TikTok video on TikTok and there was this Māori wahine talking about her experiences with patupaiarehe, and I didn't end up watching the whole entire video. Heoi anō, I did go into the comments, and one of the comments that was left there by another wahine was, "Girl, I think you're just interacting with kehua." And this sparked a whole entire whakaaro within my own hingangaro, because when that wahine commented on her video, I was like, whoa, that tripped me out, because in my own experience, a lot of my experiences with patupaiarehe have actually been very similar in some aspects to my experiences with kehua. And this is when this whole entire whakaaro started to snowball for me, because for those who don't know, I've always grown up being able to see kehua. I've always been able to see spirits. I've always been able to see people who have transcended, who have passed over, who have gone on to the next realm, the next dimension. I've always still been able to see them right here, right now, in this experience, and still see them. And that started when I was much younger. When I was like really young, I was still able to see kehua, see spirits, and it wasn't until I was in high school. When I was in high school, a lot of my gifts are wairua kind of cut off, because, you know, as we all know. Oh, kia ora beautiful. I love you too. Thank you so much for joining the party. But yeah, when I was in high school, where I like a lot of my gifts are wairua completely cut off. So it hasn't been until the last couple of years since my gifts are wairua and seeing kehua and seeing spirits have completely come back online. But that was such a natural gift for me, is to see what some and what many may or may not be able to see. And yeah, it was just trippy. It was a very buzzy experience. For those who can also have these gifts, which we all can tap into and we all can do, you know what I'm talking about. It's a wild experience. It's a lot to hold. It's a lot to ingest and integrate into your everyday life as well, because, you know, you may be talking to somebody like here in Te Ao Kiko in the physical, and then, you know, you'll have a kehua or a wairua or an energy or a spirit come in, and then they'll start talking to you, and you'll be like, like, you just, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Heoi anō. So, in my experience, a lot of my experiences with patupaiarehe have actually been very similar. So, how I see patupaiarehe and how I've seen tūrihu has come across in that form as well. It's very, like, it can be very translucent. It can actually look like a ghost, like an energy, like a spirit. And the only way you're able to be able to see them is if your whatu manua is open, if your third eye is open. And you'll probably hear people talk about this all the time, but mine's always been open. Wow, and many of us that resonate with just anything to do with magical beings, we've always had our gifts open, and that's what's made our experience different to others. We've always known that we're different because we have these gifts, and for some, theirs are only just coming back online now. So just a beautiful process of realizing that you are never crazy. You are never crazy. You are literally just experiencing the interdimensional spaces that are happening in every single layer. And that's what and how I know that there is a potential in my experience that patupaiarehe and kehua are literally on the same vibrational frequency, because when I have experienced patupaiarehe and tūrihu, they do come to me in many different forms. So in the physical, they may come to me more through the physicality, through the trees. Like I literally will see eyes in every single tree that I ever see. And yeah, it is different every single time, and it depends what state I'm in as well. That is a big thing, is whatever state you're in affects how they reveal themselves to you as well. I'm just gonna quickly tap in with you guys, because I could just keep going on and then I won't check the chat. Oh, kia ora, tēnā koe. Oh, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Yay! Yeah, I am so grateful for everyone who ever pops in, because yeah, we always just have a great time, and it's cool to like hear your guys' whakaaro as well, because I know I'm not the only one that experiences this shit. Like, this is why I share my shit, because it's like, you know, it's reminding us that we're not alone. And that's how I felt my whole life for a long time, is that I always felt alone. I always felt like I was just the odd one out. I always felt like, is anything ever going to get better? You know, am I ever going to meet people that are just like me? And I can 100% guarantee you that everything always gets better. And it's inevitable that we're going to all meet up and connect with people that are just like us, that love fairies, that love talking about elemental beings, magical beings, because, you know, when you believe it so much, when you feel it so deeply in your core and in your wairua, it's inevitable. It's inevitable that you're going to experience it in your physical reality. Like, that's just fact. That's just how it is. It's just how it is and how it's going to be. So, yeah. What sparked this whole thing was that video that I was sharing at the start of this kōrero around this wahine talking about her experiences with patupaiarehe, and yeah, just making that link and connection that patupaiarehe and tūrihu and kehua are actually vibrating all at the same interdimensional space. Because patupaiarehe are supernatural beings, that which we are. He iwi atua. We have very powerful gifts and abilities. And there's even pūrākau within Te Ao Māori that says that a lot of the things that Māori received were actually from patupaiarehe. Like our flutes, a lot of the flutes were actually gifted to Māori. And the nets, the patupaiarehe nets, I've actually visited myself. And the pūrākau is that, Māori discovered these beings with these big nets. And they were in awe because they were like, wow, they're catching so many fish, and like they haven't seen any kind of net like that before. And then they hid in the bush, and then they came out and saw what they were doing, and they were very interested. They're like, fuck, how can we do that? How can we get into that? And the patupaiarehe, this is what is said, is that they saw the chief and they got scared and kind of ran away because they were like, ah! Didn't know what was going on, didn't know who that was. And yeah, then the chief went over, saw what the patupaiarehe were doing with the nets, and then they kind of took note and then did the same. So there's a lot of pūrākau going around, and what I've been told and what I've seen and what I've heard of a lot of the things that are natural in te ao Māori is actually been gifted from patupaiarehe. And even when you see photos and like pictures of patupaiarehe, you'll always see them with their being, and also them playing the flutes. That is said to be from them, or specific kinds of flutes anyway. And for many as well here in Aotearoa, and who know about te ao Māori, they're connected with their whakapapa, many of us already know that Māori weren't the first here. There were people here before Māori, and not everyone talks about this, but it's the truth. Māori weren't the first here, because when you break down what actually it means to be an elemental being, you literally strip it right back down to the foundation of the elements. And as we know, the elements are earth, fire, air, water, and plasma energy, ether. And all it means, and all I've known in my experience, that fairies are, that patupaiarehe are literally elements. They literally are what animate the elements. Yes! Plasma. That's a whole wow within itself, that one, but that's a fun one too. Plasma energy is just spicy, yum. But yeah, so that's exactly what was here even before Māori arrived, because Māori arrived on waka. And this is what is said, and everybody knows it, because when you do your whakapapa, you have to say which waka you arrived on. And so when Māori arrived, there was already beings here, which was us, which are the elemental beings, which are the beings that literally animate and are nature, the forces of nature. And what and how it evolved, and that's why te ao Māori is so connected and so beautiful, is because Māori had this beautiful hongonga and relationship with patupaiarehe, with the elemental beings. That's why we do karakia, that's why we do all of our tikanga, our kawa, that's why we do everything we do to honour and be in harmony with nature, with the elemental beings. And we knew just how to work together. That's the natural way of being, is that we are all one and that we all work together. And that's been so interesting for me to actually witness and realize when I'm in the ngahere, is like the more and more time you spend in your chosen part of te taiao, the more you can feel their presence, the more that you can feel their energy. And it literally starts to like permeate in your own wairua as well. And you feel it so deep inside that it's like, you know that you're not making it up. You know that you're not making it up in your mind. And that's what's happened as well, is that many of us who are aware, who have these spiritual gifts, who are able to see into the unseen, who are able to tap into worlds within worlds, we have been made to feel like we are crazy because we can see things that others may not be able to see. And that's all part of the psychological warfare, is like they wanted us to think that what we're experiencing is not normal, and that it's not okay, and that you're crazy, and that you need to go into a mental home, or you need help, or you need, whatever, like, which is so far from the truth. So far from the truth. Like, everything we are experiencing, being able to see kihua, being able to see patupaiarehe, being able to feel and hear them, to experience them, is all part of our natural way of being. Like, if I'm planting anything, I ask the plant, where do you want to go? I'm not choosing. I ask the plant, where do you want to be planted? And then the plant tells me. I'm like, okay, cool, this is where you want to go. I will plop you right here, sing for you, and you can go right here. That's my method of just going about my life and connecting with the plants, because when you realize that everything has wairua, everything has mauri, everything is literally all interconnected, everything has its own life force, then you realize that you are able to talk to anything and anyone, regardless of whatever they've said that it's supposed to be an inanimate object, like a rock or, whatever, a chair. When you realize that literally everything is alive, everything is alive, then you realize you can create this beautiful relationship with anything and everything in your life, especially nature. And that's the biggest thing, is that we had been taught that, you don't need to go hug a tree because it doesn't have life inside of it, or that's just not what you do. It's not like hugging a human being, but that's far from the truth. When you realize there is a being inside the tree, it's like, why wouldn't you go hug the tree? I went on a hikoi today with my mama, and I said to her, okay, my goal for you, or my challenge to you, my wero to you today is to hug 10 trees on our little hikoi. And what did I say? I said, go hug all your favorite trees today. And she said, oh, that's all of them. And I was like, okay, go on then. So we're just hugging all the trees that we were seeing on the main path. But it was so beautiful, because it's like, literally, when you go to awhi, when you go to hug a tree, if you sit in that feeling and you open yourself up, you can literally feel the being inside of it, or the beings, plural. Because holy hecka, there's so much life in just one tree. One tree has a million, trillion different, infinite worlds within that one tree. And yeah, it was really, really fun. It was really beautiful, exactly what I needed today. And that's a big thing about patupaiarehe, is I have heard kōrero that patupaiarehe specifically are referred to plant spirits. They're referred to the elementals of trees and plants, and I feel this to be true as well, because when you're on your haerenga, when you're on your journey with reconnecting with the fae, how it works is that the tohu, the signs and the symbols will always come to you. Like, you won't have to be out here searching for anything. Like, that's how I knew exactly what I needed to do and who I was, because the signs and the tohu were repetitive. And I have heard that patupaiarehe are plant spirits over multiple different wā. And this is my current whakaaro, and it may change and it will definitely evolve, but there are multiple different names within Te Ao Māori that represent fairies, that represent the fairy folk. And within the Fae realm, as many know, if you've been following me for a while, there are not just fairies with wings, there are dwarfs, there are all sorts of beings, mermaids, mermen, unicorns, centaurs, you know, there's a whole entire list. Sylphs, anything and everything you can possibly think of. All of them exist. And my current whakaaro is that some iwi and some hapu will have stronger relationships with the different elemental beings, because we all live in different parts of te taiao. So that's what I've been feeling into, is that there are all these different kupu, there are all these different ingoa, because different iwi and different hapu are experiencing potentially different kinds of elemental beings specifically to their wahi, to their area. And yeah, it's been fun because I have been interacting way more with different kinds of elemental beings and elemental kingdoms in this season and this wā so far. It's been a wild ride. Like, currently I'm in this whole wā of the mermaids and the mermen, taniwha, and I love it. I love it. I love it so much because they're teaching me so much about myself and my connection to the wai, and I've loved connecting with the dwarfs as well. They're very different to my specific elemental kingdom. I whakapapa to ngā rākau. Even though we're all connected, it's just interesting to feel into the different energies and the different feelings you receive from all the different elemental beings as well. But I was on this wānanga i te ratou, and in the wānanga, the tohunga was sharing that there is a kupu Māori for dwarfs, and kaore au te mōhio, o kaore au te maumahara, and nai engari, I'm going to hit him up and be like, do you remember that kupu? Do you remember that kupu that you're talking about with dwarfs? Because I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down and remember it, because it's just cool to feel into the different kupu, because every single kupu has a different vibration, has a specific oro that we can feel into as well, and feel what feels good for us as well. Because in Te Reo Māori, the kupu, well, in Ngāpuhi specifically, most people up there don't even refer to the fairy folk as patupaiarehe. What I have been told from my whanaunga in the Hokianga is that a lot of more people refer to them there as tūrihu. So it's just really interesting to feel into the different ingoa within the different regions. And yeah, this is my invitation for you all too, is to just have a feel into the different ingoa. Like, if you don't actually resonate with patupaiarehe, there are heaps of other different ingoa, heaps of different kupu that literally state the same exact thing of fairy folk. And yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really, really cool to just have a feel into the different ingoa. And yeah, my intention is that in this current wā, I'm going to be breaking down each kupu, each ingoa, and just feeling into what feels good to me, and kind of figuring out where they originate from. And yeah, it's going to be really fun. So if anyone is also studying te reo Māori, or you're fluent in te reo Māori, definitely, yeah, hit me up if you're interested in being able to break down the ingoa or the kupu, so we can get to the pū, get to the origin of the ingoa as well, which is really fun. But yeah, so what I was saying before, and what I'll expand on as well, is that in my experience, patupaiarehe and kihua are actually very similar. In my experience, how I've experienced them. And how this works is that, so kihua are spirits who have transcended, who have passed over into another dimension, another realm, and patupaiarehe are already vibrating at another dimension, another realm. And that's why a lot of people will literally come to me and be like, how can I see the fairies? How can I see them? Like, can you teach me? Like some people do get a bit disheartened when they're like, I can't see what you're seeing, Bree. And my response to that is that this is where it is important to tap into your gifts, wairua, which is your spiritual gifts, your ability to see into the unseen, your ability to see into the different realms, your ability to fully be open to what is actually around us, because many people believe that the physical is all that there is. But once your gifts wairua are activated and turned on, you see that that's not actually reality. Our reality is infinite. Our reality is literally whatever you believe to be true is true for you. We are literally all creating our own experience here while we're here. And I think I have shared this before about how I used to say, all throughout my upbringing, I've always said, I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. You know, that was a whole song, that was a whole wā for a long time. And yeah, I said that, and I already knew that because when I went into deep meditation, I felt my wings, I felt the being that I am as a fairy. I could see my wings in my meditation, and I just always knew that I can fly. And I've had moments, I've had these moments where I feel like I can literally jump off a cliff and fly, which is coming. It is done. It is done, guys. We won't need cars. We won't need them. We won't need airplanes. We won't need any forms of transport other than our bodies. This is what's coming. We literally can fly. You know, like Neo of the Matrix, you know how he goes back into the simulation as going into training, and he goes into that training ground where he literally is like, Morpheus tells him to jump over to the other building, and he says to him, free your mind, free your mind. That's literally all we have to do. And I know it seems like, how is it even possible? Like, how do we do that? Once you put your mind to something and you focus your mind on something, literally anything is possible. Literally anything. And this goes back to what I was saying about how patupaiarehe are supernatural beings. We literally have the same exact powers that has been shown on these TV shows and movies, of being able to fly, of being able to heal instantly, to make things grow faster, to, you know, that we have infinite abilities, infinite magical abilities that we are only slowly starting to tap back into now, and will eventually become our whole entire reality again. Because this is our natural state, this is our natural way of being, and that's what they didn't want us to know, and that's what they didn't want us to believe. Because whatever you believe to be true is true. And for so long they wanted us to think that magic wasn't real, and that to lose all hope, essentially. That's what their intention was, these negative forces that infiltrated our realm. They wanted us to believe that there wasn't any hope, and that, you know, everything was going to keep going downhill. But I'm here to tell you that that is not what's happening. Everything's about to elevate. We're all about to go up. We're all about to fly. Like, we're about to touch the sky and even beyond. Because why not? That's where I'm going. If you guys want to join, you're more than welcome. But that's a big thing with my realizations and my experience with kehua and with patupaiarehe as well, is that when that lady left that comment, or that wahine left that comment, I was like, whoa, like, it all makes sense now. Because the only reason why you can see kehua is if your gifts are wairua turned on. And it's been the same exact experience for me with seeing patupaiarehe. And it's been so interesting, because I'm like, damn, like, it just blew my mind, because I never actually thought about it like that. I always thought that, you know, communicating with patupaiarehe was separate to that, but it's actually not. Like, we are literally so powerful when we tap into our gifts of wairua, and we all have this ability naturally. Like, within every single whānau, everyone has somebody that they know that has the ability to see kehua, to see spirits, to communicate with them. This is our natural way of being. And that's what happened with all the pushback, especially from our people. They didn't want us to use our magic. They didn't want us to use our gifts and abilities, because they're so advanced. And they were like, nah, we don't want you to use them, because that's how we that's just how we be. And they didn't want that to happen. So, you know, there was all these acts, there was all these policies, all these laws, whatever put in place to stop us from using our natural gifts and abilities. Like, we don't even need to go anywhere physically to travel. That's how powerful we are. And that's what we're getting back into as well. And it's under the same whole umbrella of connecting with patupaiarehe, is realizing that we are not separate from them. And that's what took me ages to even realize for myself. I was like, you know, I was thinking patupaiarehe, turihu, fairies, the tuath, the danan were all like separate out here having a party, and I needed to, like, you know, do things to go over there. But then when you realize that you literally are a fairy, you literally are patupaiarehe, you literally are turihu, you literally are a mermaid, we literally are all the elements, all literally right here. That I started realizing I could activate everything right now if I wanted to. It just takes intention, and it just takes time to realize that we are so powerful. And I know for myself that's taken a long time to even consider, to even acknowledge, to even fully embody and feel within my tinana, because this whole entire realm, this whole entire world has convinced us that we are powerless, that we are meant to be victims, and I myself have fallen into that trap, and I know that a lot of us have as well. We feel powerless. We feel like, is there anything I can do to fix this situation, to change the world? Like, is there anything we can do? Because we feel like everything's just happening. When you realize that you are that powerful, magical, infinite, just amazing being that we are, then once we step into this ability, all individually and all collectively, we literally have changed the world. You know, we will be able to, and are already now, because this reality already exists. But we can do and be exactly who we want to be. And we will be able to play all day with the Fae and bring order, to bring wellness, to bring health back to Papa Tuanuku, exactly what she deserves. And I'm so excited for the world to realize that fairies have always been here, we've always existed, and you've all already known this whole entire time. And I love it here. I love that you guys are here too. I'm grateful that you guys are here to join the journey of realizing that everything has always been exactly how it's meant to be. And all it is changing our perception, changing our mindset around magic, around ourselves, around who we truly are. Who we truly are at the freaking core is so magical. And so fun and so playful and so joyful. Like, this is just our natural way of being. And any of that heaviness, any of that yuckiness that we've ever felt, because I know for myself, I felt a lot of that as well. And that's a big part of the journey within this particular realm, is that because negative forces infiltrated this realm, we have gone through feeling all those all the heaviness, all the ickiness, all the yuckness, because that's what was programmed into our minds. And now we're just reprogramming, just putting in another little thought, a happier thought, a more joyful thought, a more peaceful thought, a more abundant thought, that everything is going to get better. Every day is a magical day. Every day we get to play with the Fae and just be able to be as we are, do as we please. And that's what the patupaiarehe have really taught me, is that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm experiencing, I know that I can come back to the ngahere, come back to myself, come back to te taia, which is literally just a reflection of me, and feel so at peace. So at peace, so happy, so joyful, just from spending time with our whānau Fae every day. Ia wā. Let's go! Oh my gosh, it's making me guys, I'm getting so excited. Like I know exactly what this realm was like before it was infiltrated, and I can't wait for us all to experience it again, because we will. And that's literally the only reason why I came back here, because I was like, fuck, okay, papatuanuku, you need some awhi, you need some help, okay, I will come in, da 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 da. And I will gather our whānau whai, remind them of who they are, remind us all that we're all fucking powerful, we're all magical, and that we, just by being ourselves, just by connecting with Te Paiao, just by connecting with our inner